Okay, let me make something extremely clear. I have friends from Ukraine. My great grandfather was from Ukraine. He survived Stalin's purges and all the stuff that the Kremlin put him through. And the stuff that I've been hearing from Russia, particularly the propaganda and all the people who believe in it, genuinely makes my blood boil, okay? Because all these things you hear from them about how Ukraine is run by Nazis and how NATO is this evil empire that wants to consume Russia and they want to place nukes on Ukraine's borders so that they can attack Russia easier. It's all just complete, made up, fabricated bullshit, okay? For starters, NATO isn't and never has been an offensive alliance, okay? It is a defensive pact. It's not the let's gang up on Russia club, it's the let's protect ourselves in case a country like Russia attacks us club. And yes, it was formed originally as a form of defense against the Soviet Union, but even then, it was defense, not offense. NATO is not going to attack anybody unless they are attacked first. And before somebody says, oh, well, what about that one time they attacked Yugoslavia? Do you realize how different that situation was? Serbia was trying to ethnically cleanse Kosovo of Albanians. And there was literally war crimes being committed in that region. NATO, in collaboration with the UN, intervened as a humanitarian mission. It is not at all comparable to what the Russian government keeps fear-mongering about, okay? Because they were in Kosovo to stop a genocide, not because they hated Serbia and wanted to destroy it or something. So that argument is just completely stupid if somebody tries to say that NATO is some kind of threat to Russia. Second of all, the neo-Nazi fringe minority that is in Ukraine does not have any actual government influence because the Ukrainian parliament has no far-right groups in it. And for crying out loud, the president of Ukraine is Jewish. And the absolutely insane part is, if you try to bring this up to a Kremlin shill, they'll try to use some kind of ass-backwards mental gymnastics to try and somehow refute that. They'll say something like, oh, well, the Jewish president is just a cover-up. A cover-up! To hide the fact that the Nazis are the real ones in power. Just the amount of, nonsense that these people try to spew at you is honestly just so appalling. And the worst part is, this stuff actually works in Russia towards all the naive people who believe in it. The Russian propaganda, it doesn't even try to be logical about anything. It just tries to throw all these, really just absurd, statements at you and get you confused so that you believe whatever they say. And honestly, the fact that it works in Russia is really, really just fucked up. That's the most simple way to say it. It's awful. And let's not pretend Russia isn't full of neo-Nazis itself, okay? Because, for example, here are some pictures of a rally that happened in the Russian capital. It's pretty self-explanatory. And yes, these pictures were taken in 2012, but you didn't see the government, deploy troops in Moscow to try and denazify the capital. Now, did they? As a matter of fact, the cops really aren't even doing anything here. They're just standing on the sidelines and watching. Compared to pro-democracy protests in Russia where, oh yeah, these cops, they go in full force with clubs and stun grenades to just beat up peaceful protesters. Here, they're just not doing anything at all. Because it's almost as if the dictator-in-chief of Russia is a nasty hypocrite. Who would have guessed? And also, if you've heard of the Wagner Group, it's a paramilitary organization that's actually funded and endorsed by the Russian government. And you can just go on their Wikipedia page and scroll down and you'll see a bunch of very Nazi-like far-right imagery. And these guys, once again, are endorsed by the Kremlin. At this point, Russia is just a failed mafia far-right state, or some people like to call it a gas station with nukes, and it's really just going to get worse from here. The most important thing we have to do right now is do everything we can to help Ukraine protect its sovereignty, its freedom, and its democracy. We can donate to their organizations. We can have our governments give them weapons and money. We basically have to do everything in our power to prevent the imperialist fucks in the Kremlin from putting their hands on this independent nation. That's basically what I wanted to say, guys. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a while. It's just that this whole situation has taken a pretty big toll on my mental health. And, yeah, it's just been a very, very stressful few months. In terms of good news, I passed my driver's test recently, so there's that. It took 3 tries, but I did it, so I'm happy about that. I just finished my first year of university, which is pretty cool. I'll be taking classes over the summer as well. And yeah, I'll try to keep you guys posted. in case there's anything else I want to talk about. But so far, that's it. So I'll see you guys.